This is Deral and Leslie Carson. All right, I think we're on. Okay, it's our first shot at this. This is Deral. I'm Deral, and this is Leslie. We're the Carsons. We're going to entertain you a little bit here tonight with some fun stuff that has to do with marriage. We also have our Megan Carson here, our daughter-in-law, and she's going to help us a little bit tonight as well as we go along. So I'm going to turn it over to Leslie, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do tonight.
Hi, guys. So I wanted to give you a little rundown of the evening. I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. Deral and I are not counselors. We're not professional counselors. We are just regular old people who love marriages and families and want to help people prosper in their marriage. So that's where we are at with that. We would be actually doing the weekend to remember tonight would have been our evening and our weekend. And so I want to give a shout out to the Columbus Weekend to Remember team. We love you guys, and we are sad that we are not able to do the Weekend to Remember this weekend. However, we do understand our crisis situation that we're in, so we thought we would do this instead. What have the Carsons been doing? Oh, let's see. Well, as usual, we're pretty busy. We have been preparing all year for the Weekend to Remember. So that was one thing we were doing. Lately, we've been doing some puzzling, and we've been doing some chatting. We've been doing some preparing and some YouTubing, and you name it, we've been doing it. So talking, we've been doing some talking and with each other, and so that's been really fun. So tonight we're going to have a time of teaching moments, and then we're going to have audience question times, and so let's just get started.
Okay. Well, I got a little plug here first.
Okay, a little plug.
So we are with the Marysville Vineyard. That's our focus tonight. That's our church, and I know a lot of you are from our church that are on tonight watching. So welcome to you all. We've also got a lot of folks that we know are even out of state and from other groups, and so we welcome you as well. We have been with Family Life, and most of the material that you're going to get tonight is from Family Life or teachers that are associated with the Family Life, which is part of Campus Crusade for Christ crew. So I just want to plug that in there. So you want to start on the questions?
We will. So Daryl's going to pick a question first, and we'll see what the answer is.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. Oh, this is great. I can do this one. Who has the best laugh? Explain. Well, hands down, that is my Leslie. Has the best laugh by far. Let me explain here. Now, we were at a Weekend to Remember, and we were there. We were actually there for the event. And one of the speakers, he was very funny, very entertaining, and had the place just really going. And at one point, there's a big laugh erupts, and it comes back down, and then I still hear somebody laughing, and then I look over, and it's this phenomenon with Leslie I call being broke. Somebody breaks Leslie, and the laugh just perpetuates and gets worse. So she's still laughing, and she can't hold it in, and this laugh is going. And finally, the speaker stops, and he goes, "Buddy, you're going to have a great time tonight," and didn't skip a beat and goes right back to what he's doing. And I wanted to crawl under the table, under the chair. But it was okay. It was a fun time. It was a great laugh.
And I really wanted to crawl under the chair. It just hits you out of nowhere. It's like, it's not funny, and then all of a sudden it is funny. But the problem is it's funny after everybody else is done laughing. So, yeah, that's a problem.
What's your question?
All right, let's see what my question is. What is your favorite gift I have ever given you? That's actually a question for you.
You get to answer it now.
What is your favorite gift I have ever given you? Okay, so Your favorite gift that you have ever given me would be, gosh, there's so many actually. I love it when we go somewhere and we go into a store or something and you help me pick something out. And so we have lots of times of that where we've gone to, say, a jewelry store, my favorite place, or the shoe store, and you've actually helped me pick out something. So that's kind of like a together gift that we do. And so, yeah, that's my favorite gift when we pick it out together.
Okay.
You
All right.
might hear our little dog in the background barking, crying, scratching. We have put her away and she doesn't like it.
So our apologies for that, but we're going to have to work through because she is very intrusive. She's just be in your face, kind of like your little dog, and you would be very distracted if she was up here at this moment. So we're just going to leave that one be. Okay, you got another question?
All right, we do. We have
Okay.
some questions there in the stack.
You're not supposed to put your fingers in your mouth right now, right?
No, you're not. Now you put it all over the table.
Okay. All right, so this one says, what is your spouse's love language? If you're not familiar, we're going to show you a book tonight about the 5 love languages. Great book, by the way, but her love language, oh my gosh, hands down, quality time. I can definitely tell you it's quality time. She likes me to spend time with her. She likes me to go take her shopping and stuff like that. Not my favorite thing, but I always go and I always have a good time. When it's all said and done, I can say I had a good time because I'm with her. We're enjoying ourselves. She's having fun shopping. So that's it. Quality time.
So, Deral, what are the 5 love languages that you're talking about? Shall we do them together?
Okay, so she's got to put me on the spot. So you got quality time. There's gifts. If your spouse loves gifts, that could be a love language. Physical touch. Do they want to hold hands all the time? That's not her. She's not a hold handsy kind of gal. No, not at all. Me, I'm words of encouragement, and also if you do acts, any kind of what do we call that?
Acts of service.
Acts of service. Yes, any kind of act of service. I did okay.
You did okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right. So acts of service, that's me, and I like it when people do things for me. That's very nice when she does things for me. So, okay.
Meaning like in filling up the car with gas and he's not expecting it, or like the other day I made a special meal and he wasn't expecting that whenever he first came home. So, something like that is acts of service. All right. So, question. Do we have any audience questions, Megan?
What would be a good idea for an anniversary or a date night during the quarantine?
Oh, good one.
Oh, wow.
You taking this one or am I?
Let's share this one.
Okay,
Let's
go
share this
ahead.
one.
You go first.
I would say an anniversary or a date night for the quarantine. I think that's a super question. We have been quite creative. I would say this. Look for things outside of your box. Google some things. Don't be afraid to try something that you don't normally do. Either one of you. A lot of times, Leslie and I find that we'll pick a thing. It might not be something either one of us have done before. However, when we do it, we might like it. We might really like it. We might do it again. And we've had some things that we've done like that. We've discovered are just really, really fun to do. So I would maybe Google some things and look and see what you can do at home. I would just get creative, Make a little date night right there. Make something romantic. Go out of your way and set a fancy table. Help cook a meal together. That would be a good one, right? Mm-hmm. That would be great.
Or you could do what we did the other day. Last Saturday, we decided to go to our favorite restaurant in Dayton, Ohio. And so we drove over there. And they're doing carry out, so we did carry out, and we just ate it in the car. And we just talked and laughed and had a great time, and we saw some people drive up and we were like, oh, what the heck are they doing? Turns out, and we were kind of like skeptical of them. We were like, oh, they look a little sketchy. Are they gonna try to steal our food or what? Turns out there were 4 people who were praying on the street, on the corners around the car. And I was like, oh, I guess they're not going to steal our food. They're probably praying for our food.
We're peculiar people, aren't we? Yes, yes, we are.
It was kind of funny, but it was kind of cool. And it made me think about that in a different way. Like, oh, wow, maybe we should be doing that right now.
Yeah, it was
Praying on the
nice.
street
It was
corners.
very nice.
Yeah, so something like that, something out of your normal makes it special. So anything that you can do out of your normal routine would make it special for an anniversary or just a date night. Maybe get some matching PJs and pick a favorite movie. Somebody makes the drinks, somebody makes the appetizers, because I know y'all all got lots of food in your homes. And or get out a different recipe that you haven't tried and do some stuff like that. But we did a puzzle the other night and it was a lot of fun. So you just have to think outside your box. Hopefully that helped answer your question. All right, teaching moment.
You want to do one?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk about communication. You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. You go
Communication.
ahead. Shoot.
All right. So in communication, the best points that we've come up with tonight are: don't assume. Don't assume that he knows or I know what you're talking about. Never make assumptions. Get clarification. And I have a pretty funny story about this. One night I was upstairs, he was downstairs. I said something to him and his answer came across to me like, no, don't wear those pants, you look fat in those, and don't wear that. That's what I heard. And so normally I would be like, oh, I'm getting really ticked off about that. But I came down and I said, are you saying this to me? Like, really? And he starts laughing. And he's like, that isn't what I meant at all. That is further from what I meant. So we really need to get clarification, because I could have easily been hurt by that and not talk to him for a day. So if we get the clarification that we need, then we can act appropriately. So ask questions. If you're unsure, ask the questions.
Definitely.
What else?
Because that was one of them things where what I said, it wasn't even in the same topic zone. I'm like, how did you get that leap over to here? So, yeah, just definitely. That's a good point. I would also say listen well. When your spouse comes to you with something, anything, says, I need to talk to you, put down the phone, throw it out the window, just get rid of it. Turn off the television, turn around, go to the table, face your spouse, look right at them, and listen intently. Not with that anticipated look, like, what are you going to say? Just, okay, I'm ready to listen, look. I'm ready to listen, look. And sit there and listen. Don't interrupt. Just listen. Let them say what they got to say before you make your response.
Which brings us to the next one. Keep the communication lines open. So if you're listening well and you're getting clarification, sometimes what you're hearing, you may not always want to hear that. But leave an open door so that you can come back and discuss it later. Sometimes you've got to be able to discuss it later. And I'll leave that point to you for a few minutes. But just leave the communication lines open. Don't shut them off. Don't give those hard no answers or those hard lines. Try to leave the doors open so that whenever they come to you, they know there's an open door.
Yeah,
don't you agree?
Yeah, don't just say no or yes. Explain what is in your mind. What are you thinking? What's on your heart? What's your side of the story? What do you want to present? That's what needs to come out. That's what your spouse needs to hear. Also, don't get into the negatives. Whenever we start with, you always do that to me, or you never take out the trash, or you don't do this, or you don't do that, that's when the shutdown comes, right? I'll give you a great example. We have a little bin out in our kitchen. We put our everyday shoes in it. It holds about 3.5 sets of shoes. Leslie has a thing for shoes. She got a closet for shoes. And so she has a number of just everyday shoes. So the bottom line is she wears one pair one day and then never again the next day. That'll be another pair. And so her shoes stack up in the box, in the 3.5 sets of shoes box. I have 2 pair. So when I go to put my shoes in the box and the box is full, I've got a choice to make. I can say, why do you always do this? Why don't you ever put your shoes away? Blah, 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 blah. Or I can say, Leslie, this is how you turn it around in a positive way. Step back, think a minute, and say, hey, you know, I really like this shoe box. It is a good idea. It works well for us. I really like the way it holds at least 3.5 pairs of shoes. Would you be willing to put some of your shoes away so that I can get mine in the box? And so now we've kind of made a positive open end to that. And so now she has the openness to say,
absolutely. And this is really funny because
you heard it. I have it on film now.
We just had this conversation about the little shoe bin. And so I was oblivious to the fact that he doesn't have room for his shoes. So it was an easy fix for me, and he was being irritated by it, and I had no idea this was irritating him. So, and it was an easy fix. Like, I can only put a pair of shoes in there, that's fine. Or I can take mine out, it doesn't matter. But the point is, I didn't know until he communicated clearly with me in a non-accusatory way that said, hey, this would make my life so much better if you would just leave me room to put my shoes in here. Good plan. All right. So is that kind of wraps up our points on communication.
So we'll take some more questions.
We'll take some audience questions.
Yes, here we go.
Do we have any, Megan?
Might tie into your point a little later, but
Okay, that's fine.
what is the best book you have ever read on marriage?
Oh.
Yeah, we are going to share some books in a little bit right before we close out our session about that. So do you want to do that now, or do you want to wait?
Sure.
Okay.
Sort of put a couple out there.
Okay.
We can put a couple out there.
All right, so let me just reach over here and I will get these. These are
Great question, by the way.
really quick reads. They're by Shante Feldman, and it's just really great little books. And they're called, this one is called for women only, this one is called for men only. And they're just quick reads, but they're heavy hitters. So it really, what the book does is give you insight to what your spouse is feeling, thinking. She went through and she interviewed hundreds of people on different topics, different subjects, and she combined the answers and made a book. They made 2 books when her husband helped her as well. And they're just really great little insights to your spouse's mind, thinking, way of thinking. What else would you say?
Oh, I would say when I started reading the book, I'm like, there's things in here they would talk about, and I would go, do you really feel that way? Is that how you think that through? Is that your processing? And then she would go, yeah, I had no idea. I mean, guys think they understand women. You've heard the phrase, nobody understands women. This will definitely help. These books are amazing. They really give you an insight to how she processes information. It's a scary place, but it's, I mean, for guys, we'd have a nervous breakdown. We would. But there you are.
So yeah, so these are two that we are talking about tonight, and you can buy these on Amazon. They don't come as a set; they come separately, and we are not getting a kickback for promoting these books. So anyway, just helpful little resources for you. We wanted to make sure that we did highlight a few things tonight, because we all know that you have tons of time right now to read a couple little books. So, and these are, these are just easy reads, guys.
Yep. Good
For
books.
for
Game
women
changers.
only, for men only.
Next question, Megan. Okay.
Okay, we
got
do
one.
have a question. Do you want to answer these, or do you want to go back to our...
Oh, no, let's answer these.
All right, so we had a couple of questions come in prior to our session tonight. And one is, how do you handle finances during this crisis? Do you want to take a stab and
I
then
can do that.
Okay.
So, one thing is, I think, like most people are doing, it's pretty obvious. I would not make big ticket items purchases right now. I wouldn't be thinking about buying a new car or making any real big life decisions at the current time if you could avoid it. God can have a way of getting in the middle of what you're doing, and I know a young couple right now that's sold their house in a blink and is on their way to Cincinnati. Just changed, their life just changed. They got a new job offer. He got a great new job offer, and so they had to do all this. Well, God just orchestrated the whole thing, and they're in the middle of this. It has to be very scary because I can't even imagine doing what they're doing at the current time. But I would say don't make any big ticket item purchases. Maybe watch splurging. Maybe buy a little something for you, but the thing is, it's the time to kind of pull in and watch finances. And if I can say this too, planning for times like this actually needs to start before you get here. You really got to have some cash put away in the bank and for that rainy day moment, and this is definitely the rainy day. So that you've got extra to buy extra groceries, to stock up like we all know we have to, because when the hoarding starts, then all of a sudden you have to go and buy extra because otherwise you are not going to get it. So there's that. And what do you got? Anything?
So I was going to say, a lot of us are getting this stimulus money. You've heard about it in the news. You've heard about it online. And so it's going to be a large chunk of money to a lot of people, and that you don't necessarily have right now. And I would caution against just what Deral said, against taking that money and buying a new TV or any large ticket items, because you might need that for something else. So, you might need it for living expenses or whatever, but I would just caution against, we have $2,400, let's go just buy a $2,400 something that we've been wanting. So I would just really caution against that.
I'd also say take counsel from each other. If one of you is a spender, one of you is a saver, that's our case. I'm the saver, she's the spender. You need to listen to each other, because somewhere in the middle is where you need to be, honestly.
Right.
So that's going to bring balance into your decisions, I think, as you go forward right now.
Yeah, again, a lot of communication. Sit down ahead of time, make a plan ahead of time of getting this money and decide what you're going to do together with it. Communication goes a long way, and it keeps you out of the hot seat, spender, and it keeps you out of the hot seat, saver. I was almost going to say hoarder.
Okay.
So our next, we did get another question similar. What about tithing during this time, or tithing, I guess during this time? What about tithing at this time?
I think the important thing to step back to ask that question is to ask, what is tithing? What's it all about anyway? Why do I do this? Why do I go to church on Sunday and pay my tithe? The whole reason is quite simple. God asked for it. He says all that he gives you is his, and he's asked you for 10% back. In giving that 10%, Leslie and I found a long, long time ago that we can't outgive God, and the more we give, and it has to be a right heart as well. When you give cheerfully, as to not get it back, just to give it and forget it, and praise God for the ability to be able to give it. We have always been blessed several fold back beyond that 10%. It's always worked that way for us. We've never had to worry about, oh, if I give this 10%, I'm not going to have any money for this or that. It's never been like that. God always blesses.
So Deral, how can people give right now? If they do have a mind to give, how do you go about doing that? Because normally I go to church and I write a check.
Well, there is a check and there is the mail. So, I mean, you can do that, right? You can put it in there, pray over it, put it in the mail, send it to the church. Or I know with Marysville Vineyard, there's a couple of electronic ways that you can give very easily. I do it every Sunday remember back when we were going to church and I was sitting there, I would give my tithe right there on the app. I wouldn't put it in the offering. I would put it in my phone. I just punch it right in my phone. They have the church services app. Mm-hmm. Yes, and you can set that up quite easily, and I found it remarkably easy to do.
I know a lot of my friends at work, their churches have those apps as well, and so if you're going to another church, which I'm assuming we've got all different people from all different walks on here tonight, so check and see if your church has an app or how they want you to go about doing it. But just know that the church still needs your tithe, right? Yeah. They still need your money that you would have been giving anyway. So they're still paying the bills. Mm-hmm. So
this is kind of me speaking, I guess. When it comes to church, and I'm going to be a member of that church, which I am, a member of the Marysville Vineyard. Well, if I'm going to be a member of that church, it's kind of obligatory for me to support that church. And the lights still need to be paid, the light bill still needs to be paid, the gas bill, salaries, your pastor needs to eat. Hi, Conrad. They need to eat. Did I say that? They need to eat. So in giving tithes to your church right now, you're still supporting, and trust me, I think more than ever, God's going to bless that. Really going to bless that, because you're going out of your way to get that to where it needs to be, and that's faith. That is faith. Yes.
Any other audience questions, Megan? Not at the moment. So do you want to pick a question, preload?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me just say, please, ask away, fire away. Just ask anything at all that you want to ask. It's all fair games. It doesn't even have to apply to you. It doesn't have to apply to us. Just ask a question. We'd love to answer it. So here we go. We're going to ask our own question. So, what is your purpose as a couple? What is our purpose as a couple? Go ahead, baby.
Oh, you're supposed to answer it. You drew the question.
Okay. I got to answer it. All right. So our purpose as a couple is unique, I think. And I love the idea of having a purpose as a couple. It's real easy to be two individuals living together. Those are called roommates. When you're a couple, then that changes everything. You're doing things together now. So as a couple, what we discovered, and we've done a lot of things together over the years, and it seems like God's just kind of pulled us one way to another way to another way through a whole circuit of church sort of related ministries, and back to this where we are now, which is our focus is all on helping marriages and helping make healthy marriages, that sort of thing, and working on our own. It's a passion for us. We love studying it. We love working through things. We love actually practicing what we learn. Mm-hmm. And so right now I'd say that marriage ministry is our focus. When it comes to Weekend to Remember with Family Life, we have about 550 people show up at our events, and we should have had that tonight. We should have been looking at a ballroom full of people tonight, but it's amazing how something you can't see just stops the world from working. So we have a tentative date for next year. I won't mention it now, but it should be right around this very same time. And we do invite you to come. It's just a wonderful weekend. It's a great time. I've never gotten anything more out of an event where I came home and actually was able to apply things practically to what we do in our life. I remember telling her distinctly after going to one of the very first events we went to that, hey, you realize we're still using this? Six months later, we're still using this stuff. It's easy. We never knew it. We just never knew it. Our parents didn't, neither set of our parents knew how to be married. They didn't know how to teach being married. They didn't know how to model being married. And so it was a rough start for us. I mean, we were determined. We were going to do this right. And we were always seeking. It took a while for us to actually find the information, but we got there. And so, you know, hopefully we modeled it to our kids, and they got to see something different. There's nothing like having the divorce word thrown around in your household. It used to just shake me as a little kid to the core. I'll say that. They would talk and fight all the time and be very loud about it, and doors would slam. They did this the entire 60-some years they were married. They never got a divorce. But I don't think it was until about the last 10 years they were married that they figured out that they ought to be friends because, you know, they're living together, they're in the same household, why not like each other just a little bit? And I think things started to change. But it's a shame it took that long and that us kids had to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, we got off on a bunny trail there.
You
Next
did.
question.
Next question. All right. How did you figure out household chores? So we were both, as he was talking about, we were raised in traditional households where the wife did the inside chores and the husband did the outside chores, or what we would consider lady chores and men chores. So for the majority of our marriage, I have done the inside stuff, he has done the outside stuff. But it doesn't have to be that way. Now we kind of split the chores. He still does the majority of the outside stuff just because I don't like mow grass or get my hands dirty in the garden. So he does all of that. But,
Yeah.
you know, he does help me with the inside chores and is very agreeable to that. If I would say, hey, can you throw some laundry in for me? Or can you do, you know, whenever we're actually going to work and coming home. He's still working now. I'm still working now, but I'm working from home. And so we are, we pretty much split the chores. And we don't really have a chore chart or anything like that. Some people may need that. If you have kids, I would say a chore chart is good. We've done that before with our kids whenever they were younger and at home. We had chore charts sometimes. And then sometimes it was just, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And Miranda was helpful in telling Josh what to do as far as chores go. I think there was a little bit of, hey, let's get this done before mom comes home. But yeah, so chore charts are helpful. And again, back to the communication thing, you just need to sit down and say, hey, I really hate doing dishes and this is why. Or I really hate doing this and this is why. Would you mind doing that? And oddly enough, sometimes they don't mind doing that. So, you know, I don't like carrying the laundry up and down the stairs, especially since I had back surgery. So he carries the laundry up and down. I don't mind doing the laundry. I just don't want to tote it up and down the steps. So, you know, it goes back to communication. How you can sit down and reason together on what you want to do.
Can I share something on that?
Absolutely.
One point that I'd like to make to the guys is, if your wife works a full-time job, keep that in mind, that when she comes home, about the same time you come home, both of you have done an 8 hours worth of work and nobody's done anything on the house. If Leslie was a stay-at-home wife and she was just here, things might be a little different on the chore divvying out, let's say, but whenever it's both of you, we find it takes both of us to pretty much get the house the way we like it.
Well, and I would
Work
say
through it.
too, that depends on how many littles you got at home with you if you're a stay-home mom. A lot of stay-home moms have, 2, 3, 4 kids, and so they don't have a lot of time during the day to do chores. They're taking care of the littles, which is a full-time job in itself. So again, it's just communicating what we can do to help each other. Remember, we're in this as a team. We're a team, we're doing this together, we want to do this together, and so that's the whole point, being a team, right? We're on the same team. We're not against each other, we're for each other. So that sort of thing. Any audience questions, Megan? Okay, go ahead.
With families being in close quarters for such a long time with the current situation, what would you suggest is means for conflict resolution?
Oh, conflict resolution.
Oh, very good. The thing that we mentioned earlier, honestly, think about the conflict. When it's there and you're ready to go throw that conflict right on out there, my encouragement to you is to just stop. Stop right there. As soon as you feel the conflict rising up, stop. And think that through and go, what is this? Sometimes it's something so small and insignificant, and it may actually just be you overreacting to something, or maybe not. Maybe it is a legitimate thing that you need to discuss. And if that's the case, if you feel that strongly about it, take the time, look at these points, go back and watch the video, look at these points that we mentioned on communication, stop. And if you're really mad, one thing we did not mention is timing is everything. Back off, go take a walk, whatever you got to do, come back, get your thoughts together, and then sit down with your spouse and start discussing, say, I really need to discuss something with you. And try to put it in a way that's not negative, and simple as that. Or pick a certain time of day. Right now might be a great time for that, and just have conflict resolution moment and just say, okay, who's got something they'd like to talk about? Let the kids bring up some things. Let each other bring up some things. Don't get all negative. Don't get defensive. Listen, and then present your side of it and your point of view. It works. Trust me, it will work. It's what we do. We've really worked it through.
Have grace right now, folks. That's the
Yes.
best thing I can tell you for conflict resolution in our current situation is have a lot of grace. Have fun. Create ways to have fun. That seems to take the tension right out of the room. Is, if he's getting upset or I'm getting upset, if the other one just does something really crazy silly, sometimes that just takes the fire right out of it, and we're just back into communicating with each other, loving each other, and back to being a team, right? We're all in this together. We're all going to come out the other side together, right? So we're a team. You be on my team, right? We're a team.
Maybe a good time to talk a little bit about oneness.
Okay.
Because that's kind of what we're segueing into here, I think. Let's talk about oneness, which might be a foreign concept to you. To us that have been around family life a while, we preach it, we live it, we love it. Oneness is when the two of you come together as one. It's when you're looking at things together, not my way, your way, our way. It's kind of our way under God's way, if you will. That's kind of the start of it. Having grace, like Leslie said, is so important in this time right now. You pray for it. Just pray for it, that you have grace for your spouse, for your kids right now. as you're stuck with them too, especially moms. I think that some might be stuck with them a lot. So think that through and really pray for grace. You want to act out right, you know. Treat your spouse the way you want to be treated. Think about that for just a minute. I know that you're probably thinking right now, I really wish my spouse would treat me this way, this certain way. Well, it's a funny thing because when we work through that and we say, okay, I'm going to treat her the way I would want to be treated, suddenly that starts perpetuating. It's kind of like someone has to break the wheel, stop the wheel. Because you react, your spouse reacts. You react, your spouse reacts. And when it's a negative, it comes back negative. When you start turning around positive and you bring that back positive, now you're working together, you're going to start seeing some positive results. And the thing about that is you really be encouraged that when your spouse starts, say like you bring something up, and I wish you would change this, and your spouse starts to change. Don't keep bashing your spouse the way you've always been bashing your spouse about that thing. Because the thought process is, because the wheel had to stop turning, why should I even try? I was getting the same results now as I was when I was acting this way, so why should I bother? So keep that in mind. When you move forward and you ask your spouse to change in a certain direction, you're going to have to make some compensation there too, and you're going to have a little grace in that as they work through that, because it's not going to happen like that. It's going to be a process. You're going to have to work through that process. So keep that in mind as well.
So one thing I would say about oneness is, in this just, I don't know, it just became light to me, is that God has a vision for you as a couple. He has a plan, he has a goal, he has a plan for you as a couple. Yeah. And it's kind of up to us to figure out what that plan is. It's not just so that I will marry him and we'll bump along our whole married life and hopefully we'll be happy some days and hopefully we'll get along and all of that. It's more about what is his plan for us as a couple. And once you find that plan and that purpose, you begin to really excel as a couple. So I encourage you to find out what your plan is. What is your plan? What does God have planned for you as a couple? And I know he has plans for me individually, and he has plans for Deral individually, but he also has an ultimate plan for us as a couple. And so it's been really fun figuring that out.
Yeah, so, and if that's a foreign thing to you, like you've never thought about this before, what better time than now to start sitting down and going, hey, what do you think our plan is? What's God have for us as a couple? Get excited about that because he's going to lay it out. It's already there. You just got to live it.
Okay. Do we have any audience questions, Megan? None? All right. Let's just ask a few of these because we haven't really done a lot of our questions. So let's just have some fun with questions at the moment. All right. Whose turn?
We got something. Don't go away because we got something we're going to share with you in a little bit that's pretty exciting that you may want to get involved in with us.
This is a good one.
It's a fun thing.
How much alone time do each of you need on a weekly basis? Well, I don't need a lot of alone time. I need a little bit of alone time because remember, my love language is quality time. So I love being at work. I love being around people. I love talking. And so I don't need a lot of alone time. I need a little bit, but I don't need a ton. Deral, he needs a lot of alone time. He needs a lot of alone time. So the thing of it is, if he comes home and he runs right down to the basement and starts, our computer's in the basement, our office is down there. If he comes home and he runs right down to the basement and doesn't really give me any time, that's not going to go well for us. So if he comes in and he's like, hey, how was your day and what was going on and blah, 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 which we just figured out tonight that I really don't have much to say about my day because I don't have any work experiences other than working from home, which isn't a lot of experience, right? There's no driving in, there's no driving back, there's no connecting up with people, and so there's nothing to really discuss. So that's been a little difficult. So we've had to work that out. We just talked about that tonight. Wow, we don't really have anything to like tell each other from work experience, but he needs a lot, I need a little. We work it out. We make sure we each get our alone time.
Oh yeah, my basement is
Where was this?
my little wonderland. I've got my workshop is down there, my music is down there, my computer's down there. Everything I need except food. I could come up and like get something and go back down for days. So I gotta watch and be careful.
Okay, I
that
think these are the
that
ones
I don't do
we-
that. I really do like spending time with her. I honestly do.
Those are the ones that we
Sounds
passed.
like I don't, but
Okay.
I do. But
Your turn.
okay. I'm
There he
supposed to
is,
do that.
licking his fingers again.
Where's the disinfectant? Ah, man. We'll just keep it between us, okay?
Oh, God.
All right. Okay, what do we got here? So, who is more creative, you or your spouse, and why? These are great questions to ask each other, by the way, since you're not giving us too many questions. So I'm going to throw them back at you and say, you need to ask each other these questions as well. So, who's more creative? I can't say that either one of us is more creative than the other. Leslie's incredibly creative in certain things. She thought this whole thing up tonight, for example. I was just like brain dead on it. She's like, hey, let's do this. And I was like, okay. So then we started working on this little project together for you. And so here we are. And so she does things like that. She can put a table together like nobody's business, like an Easter table or a Christmas table. Fascinates me with that stuff. She's very creative with crafts and things of that nature. Me, on the other hand, I'm more of a fabricator. I like to build and make things. I'm creative like that. Maybe put lesson plans together. That sounds pretty boring, I know, but I love putting lesson plans together and doing that sort of thing. So, and there's things we like to work on together. Again, our family life outlet, we do all that. We share that together and work our way out from there and how we can best lead our team. Hopefully some of them are out there watching tonight. We have a wonderful team that helps us put that together. We don't do it all by ourselves.
No.
We have plenty of great help. So Columbus Weekend to Remember team, hats off to you. Woo! So that's kind of, I would say both of us are pretty creative, honestly.
All right, let's see. Any audience questions, Meg? One.
How do you go about finding what God has planned for you as a couple?
Nice.
Oh, how do you go about it? What do you think?
So
What's your thoughts?
I think that goes back to your likes. Like, what do you like to do as a couple? Kind of what
Could be.
your bents are, if you know what I mean by bents. If what your, what comes naturally to you as a couple. So what comes naturally to Deral and I is we love teaching, we love studying, we love helping people. We like to be conduit. So figure out what's your where's your powerhouse wheel, if you want to say that way, as a couple, and then expand out from there. So all of this marriage stuff has expanded out for us just based on the fact that we love teaching, we love people, we love to see people prosper, and we love helping people. So all of that has come out of that heart. And I think that we both feel that way. So so think about the things that you like to do and think about the things that you're really good at. Or think about like, okay, I may not know a lot about this subject, but we're willing to learn together and it's fun.
Yeah, and another thing is, look at things like this too. You as a couple, like I have certain strengths. I'm very good at behind the scenes and building the chassis of the car, if you will, of a anything. Like tonight, the camera gear, setting up the whole streaming and all that. That I did that. She put the whole program together. So she has strengths, I have strengths. Between the two of us, sometimes we can put something very dynamic together. I can't do what she does, she can't do what I do, but we can together make something really cool happen, and we do that a lot. And so we rely on each other's strengths. That's what I admire most about Leslie, is she has strengths I don't have. She's an outgoer, I'm not so much, I'm kind of reserved at times, but yet at the same time I can be persistent and keep things rolling. So there's just, there's different elements that both of you are going to bring. I would recommend sit down, put those things on the table. What do you got to bring to the table? What have I got to bring to the table? See what's there, and then pray about that. Let God work through it. See what that looks like to you. It could be children's ministry. It could be evangelism. It could be working down at the
serving. If you both have a servant heart, you love to serve people, you love to do things for people, and you're both kind of bent that way, but one of you has a strength in this area and one of you has a strength in that area. Like Deral said tonight, he did all of the prep as far as the cameras, the lighting, the YouTubing, all of that. I know nothing about that and could have never gotten that done. So, I mean, you should see our house. It looks like a movie studio. We've got lights everywhere, camera, all this stuff. So I was working on the logistics of it while he was working on the mechanics of it. So see how that comes together? I can't do the mechanics. He could do the logistics, but it's better for me to work those things out. So we come together, we find each other's strengths, we get the positive, and we throw out the negative, okay? Yeah. So just throw the negatives out, focus on the positives, and go from there. Hopefully that helps you.
Let me share something else.
Figure out your plan.
Kind of piggyback on what she said, I can think of one couple situation, for example. One in the couple is very evangelistic, very, very evangelistic, and they like to go off to the mission field. Well, somebody else has to take care of the home front. Somebody else has to keep the kids going. Somebody else has to keep the household going. For example, while they're away on a missions trip, for example, you can be a great support. Maybe that's, as a couple, something that God, or something that looks like that. Maybe one of you has a really good ministry. Well, the other one has a good ministry too. It's called Helps. And you can support a lot. And that may be in a lot of different ways. It may not just be, helping with the house and the kids. It could be other elements too, helping raise funds. Maybe you're good at that and your spouse isn't, but they're good on the missions field. See, there's
something like that.
A lot of wonderful ways you can put this together. I think that the key is just stepping back, looking at what you got, praying about it, see what God wants to put in your lap or has put in your lap. Maybe it's just behind the drape and you're just not seeing it. It's more than likely the case. So I encourage you. It's there. Just seek it out. Just seek it.
Any other questions, Meg? No.
Let's, why don't we let them in on the little secret that we're talking about?
Let's talk about
Megan's going to show you a slide here, and what we're going to do, and what we really encourage everybody to jump on. We're really excited about this. This right here is going to be so cool. It's called Vertical Marriage. And family life, recognizing the crisis that we're in right now, is given this for free. You can do this. You can do art of marriage, and you can do stepping up as well. It's very, very cool. We'd love to share that with you. Hopefully the slide came up. I'm not sure if it did or not. We'll share it with you. What you want to do.
So this is the book.
Yeah, this is the book if you're not seeing that. And that's okay, Megan. Don't worry about it. So what we're going to do is show you this book, and then we're going to tell you where to go. Go to Weekend to Remember, www.weekendtoremember.com, /, and then it is register, the word register. just put that into your computer or your tablet or whatever. It'll take you right there. Once you sign up, then it's quite simple. It'll take you right to the 3 products. We're going to ask you to click on that vertical marriage. It's a 5-week series that we're going to go through. We're going to go through it with you right here. And what we're going to ask you to do is sign up for it. There's workbooks. We've got some ordered. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you want to get on board with this and you want the workbooks, you're going to have to order them now. And that link is right in there as well. As soon as you get there and you register for the event and you go into the vertical marriage where the videos are, you can see the order the workbooks link. And so order them now because they're not sure how much longer with the current situation, how much longer that the warehouse is going to be open and they're going to be able to keep shipping. So if you want the workbooks, you don't have to have them. You can just work through this with us if you'd like. But we're asking you to come along this ride with us. We're going to do this journey anyway, so you might as well be part of it. So what we're going to ask you to do is go through the videos. We want the 2 of you to discuss it. And then what we'd like to do is come back together next Friday after you watch the first video. Just watch the first video. And we'll all discuss it, kind of expound on it, and take questions from you about that and answer those right here. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. We have nothing else better to do. Why not better your marriage through this program here? And it's all free. The workbooks aren't free. They're $14.99. Be aware that that's 2 workbooks. When you order 1, you're ordering a set. So if you get the workbooks, do that. Now what we want to do is have you let us know. So I'm going to put this phone number to you. I'll give you Leslie's email. I don't know if you have anything to write it down with, but you can back up and watch this again, or get to this point in the video.
Or they could message me.
Or message her. You can message her on Facebook. You can message Leslie Carson on Facebook, or me for that matter. You can also email her. It's simple. Leslie with 2 E's. Leslee.Carson15 Leslie.Carson15 or 614-562-0845 is the phone number, and you're welcome to text her on that. What we're just asking you to do is confirm and just say, hey, I'm in. I'm going to do this with you. I'm in. Let us know so that we can, track that. And if we need to get any information to you, we can do that. So everybody's welcome to do this. You don't have to be part of our church. We're excited to do this. Ann and Dave Wilson, they're good people, real good people. They're exciting and funny, and you'll laugh at them, I guarantee. So we're rounding the corner here.
We're going to rapid fire through some questions before we close out. Any audience questions, Megan? No? Okay.
Well, get that other book over there.
That's not the 5 love languages.
Oh,
That's
not?
God
Okay.
knows your love
Oh,
language.
never mind.
I didn't have the
Never
5
mind.
love language.
That's okay. Don't worry about that.
But so
Don't worry about
rapid
that
fire through these questions. What is your secret to making marriage work for a lifetime? I think we talked about some of that tonight. Communication, grace, love. Love is a decision. Every single day. Love your spouse. Love your spouse.
Do you have a couple motto, and what is it? I wish I could show you because it's on our walls. It's called Enjoying Our Journey. That's us. We have fun. We love to trip. We love to travel. We love to do things in ministry together, and we're a couple, buddy. I mean, we're a couple.
Our Molly is throwing a fit.
Yes. Sorry about that.
What is your favorite TV show as a couple? So I would say our favorite TV shows as a couple is some sort of Star Trek. Any kind of Star Trek. We love it. We both like it.
All things Star Trek.
I don't like the old ones so much with the old ones. I don't remember what they're called, obviously, but anyway, Star Trek. That's our Enterprise. Yes. Okay, your turn.
All right.
He's looking.
We'll make this the last one. Okay, so what is our greatest strength as a couple? My gosh, we already talked about that, I think. I think our greatest strength as a couple is being willing to work at being one. Working at marriage isn't something that you can let stagnate. If you think that you can just let marriage be all by itself, you're drifting apart. And you're going to isolate each other. Each one of you will isolate. But people ask us, what are you going to do whenever you are empty nesters? Which that was a couple of years ago because we're empty nesters now. And I'm like, are you kidding? We have a list. So it's that thing of working together and
we have fun.
Yeah, she's my best pal.
We have fun together. We
I think I'm her best pal.
do have fun together. Yes, you're my pal.
Okay.
All right. We're going to rapid fire through these last 3 ones.
Come on now.
What is the one thing that your spouse does that makes you feel glad you married him all those years ago? He can make me laugh. I was trying to sing a song to our granddaughter the other night, and it was a funny little song that I thought about, and I was trying to sing it to her, and he just put his finger up and gave me a look, and I just started laughing. And I could barely get the song done because he had to go upstairs because he just makes me laugh.
What's the most daring thing you have had to do as a couple? There's a couple of them, but I would say leaving the military, getting out of the military and coming home. And it's a big long explanation of why that was so tough and so difficult. But we had 3 weeks to sell a house and pack up and get out of the military, which is very almost impossible to do in 3 weeks. You just don't get out.
I would have said that when we went on the Vista cruise ship and we rode the Sky Rider thing, and we had to ride it twice because they did get the picture the first time. So you're riding this bike thing over top of the cruise ship, over top of the water. It's pretty crazy. I would have said that. Okay.
You would have said that.
Do you have a secret saying or a look that only you or your spouse knows? We do. And we said it to each other just this morning. Anytime one of us does something and the other one does it too, we'll look at each other. One of us will look at the other one and say, you just want to be like me. So we constantly tell each other, you just want to be like me when the time arises. And it's just funny. We've had this for a long, long time, and we just say it just at random. You just want to be like me.
And as you can see, my wife can talk. And we're over our hour, so we're going to leave you now.
What was this one?
I don't know. I don't care. Anyway, right now we're going to sign off.
Any last questions, Megan, from anybody?
No, we're
all
done.
right.
So anyway, so we're going to sign off now. Please let us know that you want to jump on board with this vertical life. It's free. It's going to be fun. You're going to get something out of it. I promise you, you have nothing else better to do. So have a great, wonderful night. I hope you got something out of this, and we hope to talk to you and see you very soon.
We love you guys, and we wish you nothing but the best during this quarantine time. Be a couple. Stay together. Give us a call if you need us. Send us a text. And be blessed.
Bye.
Bye-bye.